Namaskar, welcome to Bhujan Asia Voice of the Community. I'm Ashok Vyas. Today we have very inspiring Bhujan Asia. We will begin with part of conversation with Kiran Khalap, who is known as author, thinker, and a very acclaimed CEO and founder of branding company Chlorophyll. There is also going to be a part of a special documentary called Devotion in Action, based on Dennis Hartel's life. And part of conversation with translator of an important novel written by Marathi novelist Shivaji Sawant. It is Yugandhar. All this coming up right after these short messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Vision of Asia Voice of the Community on ITV Gold, and today we begin with a special conversation with CEO of Chlorophyll, author as well as thought leader Kiran Khalap. He talks about the way adventurous spirit takes root right from the beginning, and how what one learns from her parents molds their lives. This gentleman is also dedicated to practice Indian philosophy. So here is a amazing combination of corporate life on the one hand and philosophical clarity on the another. Kiran Khalap.
So even when I was a school teacher for 4 years, between 1979 and 1983, I was a school teacher, I was a housemaster. I think the creativity there came in terms of behavior. It is not necessarily in terms of communication or necessarily in terms of drawing or painting or self-expression. The behavior of between me and my students, there was very little division between us. So there was a kind of closeness that happened. There were 300 students in that school, and quite a few of them either learned calligraphic handwriting from me, somebody learned gymnastics from me, somebody learned judo from me, some learned swimming, some learned how to use a way to a film projector. Now, all of those things, when we were doing together, there was no distance, there was no separation like, I'm a teacher, you have to look up to me, you must do this, you must do that, maintain this distance. So that was an expression of no distance, that was an expression of bringing things together. So bringing things together.
Sorry. So I would let you continue, but I just wanted to express my, call it a surprise, or not just surprise. Surprise is very simple a word. So, I mean, it is incomprehensible to conceive of someone like Kiran Khalap, all the different genres of art as well as maybe judo or whatever you mentioned. You taught them, that is one aspect. But now I go further back. How did you learn all that? I think you were only, you just were out of your teenage. I think you were 17, 18, right after graduation, you went to teach there and you were there for 4 years in Varanasi. So, where did you learn all this? Where did you get time and inclination?
I think one of the concepts we should bring here is what is called as genetic lottery. So you can choose your friends, you can choose your wife, you can choose not to have children or have children, but you can't choose your parents, right?
Correct.
And my sister and I, there are only two of us. I think we were blessed by an incredible set of parents. Both of them were self-taught. My father had studied only till class 7 in a Marathi medium school. My mother had studied only till class 4 in a Marathi medium school in a village. But when I was aware of them, my father could speak and write chaste English because he knew that that was a doorway to a different future. So he had learned English by buying a dictionary, by watching um English films, by listening to conversations of people who were speaking English. He taught himself art. He became one of India's best commercial artists, and he got a job in Metal Box.
Wow.
And the same thing that happened to the school principal happened to his boss. So the boss asked him, "Okay, this is fabulous work," because he did showed them how to do airbrushing, and they had never seen airbrushing done with that finesse. And he said, "Okay, just bring your certificate for formality's sake, and you are on." And he said, "What certificate?" "I don't have a certificate. I haven't been to art school. It's all self-taught." Which is the same thing that the school principal asked me when I reached. I was 20, and he said, "Okay, you come here because you are saying that you want to contribute to this noble cause because you believe that education can change society. All of that is fine, but where's your certificate?" I said, "I have no certificate. I went away, more or less ran away from home the day my exams got over, day before yesterday. So the certificate will come later." So in a way, my mother, for instance, despite being class 4, she was a voracious reader. Both of them were readers. So I got the this entire thing. My sister and I, we became voracious readers. I would take up one author and finish all his books. That's the way I would read books. Of course, it was more English, but our spoken language at home was Marathi, because my father was from Goa, my mother was from Konkan. So one part on this ability to draw, for instance, or the ability to do calligraphy. So what would happen is my father would work in Metal Box, but for additional income, he would do freelance work at home. And I would come back from school before he returned from the office, and he had taught me how to fill in basic colors. So if you want to have a fair person, you mix orange and chrome yellow and white, and you fill in the face. If you want a dark person, you take burnt sienna and white, and you put it. So I would fill in those colors. So I learned the art or drawing or calligraphy at that stage when I was 10 or 12. So that is one part of it. The second part is then he kind of responded and said, "Oh my God, this guy is becoming a bookworm, and this is not right. He needs to be strong and muscular and this and that." So he put me into a gymnasium, what is called as a Vyayam Shala in Marathi, where I learned yoga, malkham, gymnastics. Then, as I grew up, then when I was about to join college, we had 3 months of uh, holidays. So I went and learned judo. So that is how everything happened. So, for instance, there was a program called Outward Bound program, I think, created somewhere in the UK. There was one trip in India that was happening, which was along the coast. So my father pushed me into it, where they would throw you into the open sea and let you experience how to how to swim in the open sea. So these are things he himself, when he was young, had done a lot of working out and all of that. So this is the genetic lottery bit. So there are tons of stuff which has come down through the genes.
How we proceed, how our life experiences unfold, what decisions we make, who decides all that? These questions takes us to Bhagwan Raman Maharshi ji and brings importance of knowing our true self. Who am I? Contemplating on that was the core message of Raman Maharshi ji, which attracted many Westerners. Dennis Hartle from New York was one who visited Tiruvannamalai many times over the last 4 decades. He has been instrumental in establishing ashram at Nova Scotia as well as in New York, Arunachal ashram. And one day he felt that rather than staying active in serving the devotees, the calling has come for him to stay immersed in the remembrance of Bhagavan. and he suddenly left. That Vairagya was depicted in a documentary on him, Devotion in Action. Here is a part of that documentary which was shown at Haramb TV on ITV Gold.
I couldn't control my tears. It felt like I had actually arrived at my father's home, and it was not the first time that I was coming there, and through many lifetimes that I had been there, and this was a chance to go back home.
He introduced me to many Ramana devotees, sometimes in their presence. He was a very special glue that would connect you to the most glorious aspect of your being. I missed many opportunities of being with him. It feels I should have spent more time. Maybe I still have the chance. Maybe. The last letter of Dennis has practical and powerful current of eternal inspiration. He showed what Bhagwan Ramana has taught by living.
Bhagwan Raman Karuna Sagar कर दो दरस का सवेरा.
ऐसा लगा कि मैं कहाँ आ गया हूँ एकदम. इसके साथ साथ ये भी है कि प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य के अलावा उनकी जो निष्ठा वैदिक उच्चारण के द्वारा मन को शांत करने की विधि को पिछले 30-40 वर्षों से जिस तरह से उन्होंने अपनाया है, तो उसके बाद में उन्होंने हम लोग थोड़ी बहुत चर्चा कर रहे थे और हाँ, तो उन्होंने वो एक छोटा सा गैस जैसा था, बहुत छोटा वाला, पतीली भी रखी हुई थी. उन्होंने कहा चाय तो है, दूध नहीं यहाँ पे. और जो उन्होंने पानी के लिए एक वहाँ पे रखा हुआ था बड़ी वाली जो शीशी, वो जम गया था पानी उसमें. तो जैसे वो उतर के गए और सामने जो झरना सा बह रहा था वहाँ से पानी ले गए. मैंने कहीं साफ़ सुथरा हो गया तो गर्म कर लेंगे तो ठीक है. गर्म हो गया था, चाय पी बिना दूध की, लेकिन बहुत ही तगड़ी थी. With lots and lots of gratefulness, love and invocation of that silence which helps us merge with the beauty of oneness. Here I read the letter that has a story of a life that is rare, very, very rare and glorious. Visible yet invisible, simple yet mystical, attached yet detached. Here is the saga of God's greatness, woven in such effortless manner as is dewdrop, as is blossoming of a flower, as is the dance of waves, as is the flight of the group of birds, as is the smile that reflects the majesty of the Absolute. Well, over to the letter, and here I quote Dennis Hartle. This letter gives some glimpse of Dennis' life also, and here I begin. My dear friends in Bhagavan, at the age of 18, I decided that I had to find out what the meaning and purpose of life was. I saw no solution in my home, so I wrote a note to my mother, borrowed $20 and left. The journey lasted for about 4 years, during which time I traveled the world over and had many experiences which brought me to the conclusion that the only meaningful purpose and goal of life was to realize God or self-realization. My latent sanskaras must have played a part to rediscover the teachings that directly resonated with my own experience and understanding. Then I was guided to the Sadguru, who perfectly demonstrated them, Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi. The same year I arrived at his ashram in New York and dedicated my life to service and the practices of his teachings. Last summer in the Nova Scotia ashram, a sudden, altogether contrary vision took possession of me and would not let go, even to this day. I couldn't resist it, nor did I feel that I should, and ultimately surrendered to it. That is what it is. After 48 years of living in his abode, serving him through his devotees, I became possessed, so to speak, with a single aspiration. I felt Bhagwan telling me, now you need only to serve me by remembering me and abiding in me, the self. Hence, you need not continue to serve me physically, but serve me by remembering me and abiding in me. In addition to this, I experience an intense yearning to simplify my life, to depend on Him alone for all things, to take complete refuge in Him and leave it to Him to provide me with whatever is required to fulfill this aspiration, as enunciated by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. To those who always think of me and engage in exclusive devotion to me, to them whose minds are always absorbed in me, I provide what they lack and preserve what they already possess. Chapter 9, verse 22. Therefore, I am writing today not only to you, the officers of Arunachal Ashram, USA and Canada, but to all my friends and well-wishers, to inform you that what happened when I was 18 years old is now repeating itself. By the time you read this note, I have already left the ashram for a distant place to fulfill this yearning within me. Believe me, I am no less surprised than you about what you are now reading. After this new aspiration took hold of me in Nova Scotia and I realized that I must fulfill it, I thought briefly about what direction the ashram would take in my absence. The next day, this concern was completely erased upon reading what Sri Kunju Swami told Evelyn concerning Bhagwan's ashramas on January 19, 1983, recorded in her diary. Not only did I have no doubts after reading that, I fully believe, though physically absent, I will now extend a greater service to the ashram than ever before. You may not understand this, but I believe in time you will arrive at the same conclusion. I ask that you please do not make any efforts to locate my whereabouts. I have put all my faith in Bhagwan's guiding presence, and all of you should do the same and celebrate with me this new direction in my life. Doesn't the Lord of the universe sustain the trees of the forest, the birds in the sky, the fish in the sea? Will He ever forsake me? How is it possible? You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of Community on ITV Gold, and we are happy to be bringing this show filled with interviews, coverage of events on ITV Gold every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Special weekly edition of Vision of Asia comes to you on Sundays at 11 a.m. Appreciating your continued support, requesting to stay with us as we come back after these short messages. Lord Krishna has inspired one and all over ages. In the last 5,000 plus years, the presence of Lord Krishna in the hearts of devotees has guided them, has helped them, has given them inner strength. Yugandhar is one of the important novels written by Shivaji Sawant, acclaimed Marathi novelist who is known for his novels Mrityunjay and Chhawa also. Interestingly, his wife translated Yugandhar from English to Hindi, and Mrinalini ji's inspiration reached her daughter who has translated Yugandhar in English. We talked to Kadambini as well as poet Abhinav Shukla about significance of having this important story available for English readers. Here is a part of that conversation.
तो 2011 में मेरी पहली पुस्तक निकली. उसके बाद 2012 में एक दिन मुझे माँ का फोन आया था एंड शी टोल्ड मी कि मुझे एक रिक्वेस्ट आई है एक पब्लिशर से एंड दे वांट टू ट्रांसलेट युगंधर इन इंग्लिश. तो उसको तो मैंने माँ को पहले ही बोल दिया था कि मुझे युगंधर इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट करना है, तो मैं कर रही हूँ, बट उसका स्पीड कुछ ज्यादा नहीं था. सो माय मॉम वाज बेसिकली आस्किंग मी कि आर यू स्टिल गोइंग टू डू इट, आर यू रेडी टू डू इट और नॉट, और यू नो कि मैं इन लोगों को बता दूं आप कर सकते हो, क्योंकि अगर प्रोफेशनल पब्लिशर के पास करना है तो वो तो 1 साल में 6 महीने में कर सकते थे. बट सो बहुत दुखी दिल से मैंने उसको बोल दिया कि हाँ ठीक है, मेरी तो इतनी सारी आई हैव सो मेनी फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज तो आप उनको बोल दो कि ठीक है वो कर सकते हैं करके। फिर बाद में फोन रख दिया, बट दैट नाइट आई कुड नॉट स्लीप। I was, I just kept asking this question to myself कि इतने साल हो गए और why couldn't I do it? Why can't I do it? क्यों कर नहीं सकती मैं ये तो मेरी जिम्मेदारी है। अगर इतने साल क्योंकि युगंधर पब्लिश हुई थी 2002 में, ये सब हुआ 2012 साल में, तो मतलब 12 सालों तक अभी तक किसी के दिमाग में ये नहीं आया था कि युगंधर का अंग्रेजी अनुवाद कर लिया जाए। तो वो मेरे दिमाग में तो पहले से ही था। तो आई टुक इट एज अ सिग्नल कि 12 सालों तक अगर किसी का ये नहीं आया और आज ही आ रहा है, तो दिस इज लाइक अ पुश। आई हैव टू गिव माई सेल्फ अ पुश एट दिस पॉइंट एंड आई हैव टू डू इट माई सेल्फ। फिर दूसरे दिन सुबह उठ के मैंने झट से माँ को कॉल कर दिया और बोल दिया कि यू टेल देम नो, दिस इज माई थिंग एंड आई वॉन्ट टू डू इट। सो आई टोल्ड हर कि मैं ये करूंगी और जरूर करूंगी, मुझे थोड़ी सी देर लग जाएगी ये करने में, बट मैं ज़रूर करूँगी ये। सो फिर माँ ने बोल दिया कि ठीक है, मैं उनको बोल देती हूँ। फिर उसके बाद में मैंने स्टार्ट कर दिया। जब स्टार्ट किया तो मुझे बहुत ही जल्द मेरी समझ में आया कि दिस इज नॉट एन इजी टास्क। तो थोड़ी सी मदद।
You translated from Marathi to English or Hindi to English?
Marathi to English.
Okay.
Yeah, the interesting fact about युगंधर is युगंधर का हिंदी अनुवाद मेरी माँ ने ही किया है।
अरे वाह। तो कृष्ण भगवान आप तीनों पर उनकी कृपा हुई।
उनकी कृपा है, बस उनकी कृपा है। That's what I thought, that कि 12 साल का मुझे टाइम मिला है, and I thought कि mentally I was more prepared to translate the novel at after 12 साल के बाद definitely। क्योंकि अगर मैं उसके पहले अगर जल्दी में कर भी लेती तो उसमें उतनी मैच्योरिटी नहीं होती, ऐसा मुझे लगता है आज भी। तो उसके बाद में 2012 में मैंने शुरू किया। इट टुक मी ऑलमोस्ट 2 years to finish the whole process, like first translating the novel, then again reviewing the whole translation. It took a lot of time.
So Kadambini, please look for the book if you have around you, and pick up any 1, 3, 4 lines that you can read for our viewers. And in the meantime, Abhinav ji, I would request you to share ये जो युगंधर है इसका अंग्रेजी भाषा में उपलब्ध होना, आप इसको कितना महत्वपूर्ण मानते हैं? ये एक बड़ी उपलब्धि जैसी बात मुझे लगती है पाठकों के लिए।
जी एक मैं यहाँ पे ऐड करना चाहूंगी अभिनव जी, सॉरी। This is actually the first version of English Yugandhar. You can see this book is 1064 pages.
Show the front also. Okay, very good.
This was first published in 2017 by Mehta Publications, but eventually, with help of Sunil Mehta of Mehta Publication, Amazon actually we got in contract with Amazon, and then Amazon has this version now, which is available on the internet also. Wonderful. I think the printing is not in process right now because of the COVID-19 situation, but this is much more consolidated.
How many pages are there?
This one has less pages actually. This is only 567 pages.
Very good.
So almost half of this this book.
And now time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia Voice of the Community. But we would like to remind you, do join our Facebook page, subscribe to ITV Gold's YouTube channel, and keep writing events@itvgold.com. Stay happy, stay well, stay safe. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.